So we have 3 different Malbecs here.
Okay.
I've told you that one of them is Argentinian. Okay?
So I have to pick the Argentinian.
I'd like to see the best. You pick the
Okay.
Argentinian for sure, but I also think what some of these wines. I think I've got the receipt somewhere. Like one of them is like $15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like we've got 3 different price points around within about a $10 range. We've got 3 different areas, and there are some different countries.
Beautiful.
So
Nice.
I just want to. For me, this episode is not so much about you picking the wine to the T. I want to find out what the best value
Yep.
wine here that we can get out of these 3 is. And is it the Argentinian, or there is an Australian one here? Have the Aussies represented the Malbecs?
Awesome. Wow, sounds fantastic.
So I need you, because I didn't bring a blindfold or anything creative, so I'm just going to get you to close your eyes.
Sure.
This might be an episode where you want to head to YouTube. It's quite a visual part of the episode, but I'm going to pour you 3 small glasses.
Hey, Angus, make sure you know which glass you're pouring.
I am.
Because...
Well, as long as you put the wine glass back
right.
in spot.
If I
You
don't
always get it right. Okay, it's my fault.
If I don't get it right, it's your fault, okay?
Okay, sure. Makes sense. So they're all screw tops. I can already see, Carlos is looking away, but I can already see there's a slight difference in the color of the first 2 as we get to the third one.
Well, that's good. That's good.
All right. And a slight spill on the desk. I'll get rid of that.
It's all right.
Done. All right, hang on 2 seconds. I've poured all 3 bottles. I've lined them up behind a box so Carlos can't see the labels, obviously. If you're watching this on Instagram or on YouTube, then you, of course, are privy to that information. Carlos.
Can I turn? Yeah.
You can turn.
Oh, thank you.
You have 3 glasses in front of you.
Cool.
Where do you want to start?
Cool. All right. Well, first I'll look into the color, and I see that, they all look Malbecish for sure. They all have that purple color straight from the get-go. They all have staining tears. Second one, perhaps a little bit less. So usually Malbec in Argentina will have a lot more than that, just because if he comes from Mendoza, which is that sweet spot for Malbec in the world, is in the Andes, is very high altitude, and it's desertic, so a lot of sunlight, a lot of ripeness, a lot of extraction, and I don't see that much in this glass, to be honest. And even leave it at that for now. So I'll put this one kind of a little bit on the side. And then the last one is the one that has the most of that. So that really big extraction, swirl the glass. There's a lot of leg tears. The legs have staining tears, so they have like kind of a purple tone to it. And yeah, it seems pretty generous.
So we're going to call this first glass, second glass. Let's call it 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, sure.
Because I have revealed to the audience what those numbers are, and so they know what country or what area they are from.
Okay.
Everyone knows except for you.
Okay, sure.
So so you've got that. So why did you separate the second one from the first and
just
third?
because it seems, if I were to say, look, you have to smell, you have to taste only based on color, and I may be totally wrong, because obviously that's not how you taste. You have to go through the whole process. But if I was based on color, number 2 would be the the $15, or
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I got the receipt in front of me.
You know, it's just the color that just doesn't seem too deep, too extracted, or perhaps not the Argentinian. So you said there's Argentinian, there's Australian, and then there's one more classic place for Malbec in the world, which is in southwest of France. But I don't see any of that deep staining purple, even for south or west of France as well. So I don't think there's a French here.
Wow.
So,
Cool.
Okay. Now, on the nose, number 1. Well, it does smell Malbec, number 1. It does smell Malbec, like that black and blue fruit, mostly blue fruit, and I would just stick with that actually. Blue fruit, blueberry, like kind of bramble, kind of ripe and lush. blue fruits, and then like a really strong floral character, lavender and fresh, fresh wash powder, like from
I know.
clothes. Yeah, I always get that on some Malbecs. And then a slight dark chocolate. There's a little bit of spice, which may indicate oak, but I'll have to confirm that on the palate. And yeah, a light spice, and not really new oak. I don't think there was new oak here, but perhaps some oxygenation through oak barrel. So yeah, okay, that smells kind of like Malbec. Yeah, just trying the palate a little bit. So now when I taste, I'm assessing the fruit character, of course, the structure, the sweetness, alcohol, body, tannins, acidity. But it's quite short, so it feels like it only lingers on the palate for a few seconds. There's that blue fruit, kind of vibrant blue fruit, which is ripe and lush again. The alcohol is one thing on the texture, on the structure, that really is kind of warming. So it is high alcohol, and I'm tempted to say at least 13.5 to 14%, if not more, because it is really back there. So 14.5. It speaks like Malbec. I don't think it's a fantastic example, but it speaks like Malbec. Number two
being the one that you did separate just from the color, thinking that it was probably less Malbec than the others.
Well, but the palate, I mean, well, so before the nose, actually, let's go the nose first. But the nose, now that has been open for a little bit, the aromas are opening beautifully, actually, like that a riper black fruit, black currant, black plum, and then the blueberry. It seems actually on the nose more complex than number one. Interesting.
If you are watching this online as well, you can see the price and the bottle of what Carlos is drinking right now.
Here I have a little bit more touch, more dark chocolate, and almost a slight tobacco. It's more complex on the nose, number two. Interesting.
Because off the appearance, you kind of dismissed that one.
Yeah, for sure. On the appearance, like I like that heavy staining for Malbec.
I promise you, I haven't done. I mean, there's a couple of little twists and turns along the experience of finding out what these wines are, but I haven't. They are all Malbec.
Yeah, interesting. On this one, there is a slight grounded black pepper, which to me almost, if I was, not knowing that this is Malbec, I would consider Syrah on this one. Which aromatic is fermentation. Cooler fermentation could give more aromatics. But knowing it's a Malbec, that's fine. It's the purple flower again, violet, a little spice, as I said. Perhaps I don't think there's a big amount of new oak. Perhaps 1 or 2 years oak, which will impart a little bit. There's a little bit of clove to it. Mixed with that grounded black pepper, or maybe it's just clove. Yeah, it's good. I think it's a good
That's
example.
interesting that you dismissed it off appearance, and now I'm just guessing and talking for you, but you prefer that over the first.
I prefer
glass?
this over the first.
Okay, and you prefer it not in a taste sense, but you prefer it as a Malbec, right?
As a Malbec, yeah, as a Malbec, and as a taste.
Oh, both. Now, just for everyone listening, we will be going into a deeper dive of the wine that Carlos likes best on the next episode. So you don't have to rush through this. It's more of a process of giving Carlos options in Malbec and then picking the best one from that.
Yeah, and then the time lingering on the palate. The first one kind of faded away straight away. Number two lingers a little bit longer on the palate. So to me, it just shows a little bit higher complexity and shows a little bit more depth of flavor.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
number two.
That's number two. I like it.
Number three, you like it? Nice, cool. I'll tell you the price points of the three in no particular order. Literally, one is $14.30. One is $18.99, and one is $21.90.
Okay.
So very affordable bottles of wine.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it just becomes very, very high. Very difficult to separate them. Why? Because At this price level, there is no new oak imparted, which makes them all, somehow similar.
Oh, that's a good point.
But
That's a really good point.
because if there is one of $40, $50, I mean, why? What justifies it being so expensive is
New oak.
new oak, and
Yeah.
that
And then
will
you'd be
give
getting some spice on it and being able to really
correct.
differentiate. Nice. The third one.
Number 3, I think is still my favorite. In terms, it speaks the most to Malbec to me in terms of staining in the glass. It's heavier, is more purple, is deeper in color. This is the one that speaks to most Malbec to me. As in, for what I know as being classic from Argentina, for example. On the nose is beautiful. Again, the mix of black and blue fruit, nothing changes there compared to the others, just perhaps a little more pronounced, a little deeper, as in like almost a little bit more jam, black fruit, more jam, blueberry and dried plum, a little more raisiny as well. But then again, that dried violet, dried lavender there as well. More like grounded coffee bean and a slight tobacco still there as well. Quite similar to the second, but just deeper and a little bit more intense. And yeah, oak spice. I think there's a touch more oak spice on this one. So if I were to guess, I think this is the $21. But again, it's not a big difference between them. But I think this is the higher quality. And yeah, palate. Yeah, this speaks more to Malbec. Again, that juicy. Imagine you have compoted blueberry jam or strawberry jam, and you have it's acidity. There's a lot of acidity on that jam, but it's really sweet. It's not that the wine is sweet. No, the wine is dry, but that sense of sweetness makes the mouth salivate a bit. But obviously it's a dry wine, and then again, yeah, that ripe, jammed black fruit, the dried flower. Could be a little bit longer actually in terms of palate. It's I think is just a few seconds more than the second, while the first one was shorter. Number 3 is a few seconds longer, keeps lingering on the palate a little longer. So again, adds a little bit more quality to it, in my opinion.
You let me know when you're ready to talk results.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I would say I haven't tried many Australian Malbecs. The only one I tried, and actually I tried the most, was Wengerie.
Okay.
Wengerie Malbec in South Australia, but that's a totally different price point, which, by the way, is one of my favorite wineries in the country.
All right, and Carlos.
Yeah,
you've had all 3.
Number 3 is Argentina for me. The other 2, I would say, now another swirl is like a little bit.
You swirling number 1, yep.
Yeah, number 1. After doing the tasting, there smells like some kind of wood, some wood thing, but it's not like wood spice. It's not high quality deep wood. It's some note of like feels like cracked wood or something.
Well, it's not, if you haven't had a lot of Australian Malbecs, because you work at a higher price point and you're not going to get expensive Malbecs most of the time. Your pick for Argentinian, you want to lock in?
I will lock in 3. Yeah, I think it smells and tastes like Argentinian Malbec.
Congratulations, Carlos. You have picked the Argentinian Malbec.
Yeah,
you have.
The
other 2 are like both Australian.
Okay,
I'm going to reveal them to you now.
Nice.
The pick that Carlos went with was the only Argentinian wine. Funnily enough, you liked it the most. It's also the cheapest.
Really?
That was $14.30.
Far out. That's crazy. Well, but that tells you a lot about a lot of things. It's one who has more money to spend on wine and less money, and what's more underrated and what's not underrated. I mean, I really think, and it would be interesting for people at home to do this experience.
Yeah.
And do exactly the same way as we did it. You know, blind tasting, not knowing what the wines are, and put the wine in the glass. And
You can do it. What you can do is, go home, get your roommate or your partner, buy but the 3 bottles. Obviously, it costs you like $50 for all 3 of them.
wow.
Get your partner or whatever to switch them up for you, so they know the order but you don't, and try and do the same testing or tasting that Carlos just did. The next episode of Got Somme is going to be a deeper dive into the Macho Gaucho, the 2020 Malbec from Argentina.
That's really cool.
I'm looking forward to trying it as well because it's the cheapest wine.
Wow.
The other 2 wines, one was the Potts family, the Bleasdale second innings Malbec, which actually got 95 points from the Halliday Wine Companion.
Bleasdale is amazing. They do really, really good fortified wines.
There
Really
you go.
good.
So it's won some silver medals. James Halliday's a huge fan of that one. And the first one was a McLaren Vale Malbec from the Mitolo Winery, the Jester. But we'll see you on the next episode. You can confirm all 3 bottles so you can do your own blind tasting at home, just like our Master Sommelier Carlos Santos. But we'll see you on the next episode with the Macho Gaucho as we take a deeper dive into the glass. And I finally get to try it.
Yes. Nice. Thank you for that.
We'll see you next one.